You're watching the LITE version of The Piece of Persistence. Visit patreon.com, that's patreon.com/Piece of Persistence for complete access with double the content and 0 ads. You're joining us for part 2 of our interview with Tricia Alexandro, playwright, actress, and personal trainer. If you missed part 1, just check out last week's episode. Enjoy! What do you like to do outside of the theater and film world and outside of personal training?
I love to dance. That's one of the things I love to do. And I feel like swing dance in particular was kind of life-saving for me. After I was raped, I had the sense of being disembodied, of being disconnected from my own body and being sort of afraid of the attention that my body attracted, being afraid that I wasn't in control of my own body. And I also just felt very uncomfortable being touched, in any way. And a coworker of mine took me swing dancing. And this was actually in Los Angeles, to Disneyland. Is that what's out there?
Yes.
Yes, okay, Disneyland. And there was a big band, and everybody was dressed up, like it was the 40s. And he taught me how to swing dance. And it was the most joyful, exuberant expression. And it was safe touching, and it was, there's no way to be sad and do that kind of dancing at the same time. It's just, it jogs you out of whatever mood you're in, and it gets you out of your head. Also because you're following a lead and you don't know what step they're going to lead you into next. So it was a great sense of surrender, and creativity and all those things. And so I don't do it as often anymore, and I miss that. But for a period of time, there was a huge sort of underground swing dance movement in New York City. And there was, you could go every night of the week to a different place, and I did.
Cool.
Yeah. So swing dance is electric. But really any type of dance. I did African dance for a long time, too, with this woman named Pat Hall. She had a great class that felt like church, it was every Sunday, and it was in this high school in the East Village, in this sort of high school auditorium, gymnasium. And there's something, too, about that, because African dance, it encompasses the history of the African-American experience, So there's joy there, there's pain there, there's suffering, there's a rooting in the earth, a connection to the earth, there's community, it's all these things. So, yeah, dance has been a way for me to shut off my brain, get back in touch with my body, express my sexuality in a safe way, my femininity. That's been really important to me. I think also personal training can be a little masculine, and so dance helps me get back in touch with the feminine, and then it's okay to be soft.
So you've been involved in a lot of different communities for both actors and playwrights. How would you say that those communities have enhanced your life?
I think they're sort of miniature, families, and for me, family was always safe. I come from a large family. I'm one of 5 kids. And I come from parents who have a very strong union, who are very loving. And my mother kind of felt like it was her life's work to make us into good human beings, Mm-hmm. And so, and we all did theater together too. So we were all in this theater company at my church together growing up, my siblings and I. So there was the sense of this family and then this family, the community and the theater family. And once I think you get a sense of the joy that can happen in community, because, community isn't always like sunflowers and, it can be, I have a different idea than you and I want to kill you and I don't like the way you're talking to me and, all that kind of stuff too, which happens in both families and, theater companies and whatever. But the sense of creating something together, that you're all excited about and passionate about, the sense of bringing beauty into the world is it's life-giving. And so I would say the Barrow Group was the first theater company that I felt like, oh my God, I truly feel at peace here. I feel like that TV show Cheers, where they would be like, Norm, whenever he walked in this door. Like, whenever I go into the Barrow group, there's always somebody that, like, Trish, you know. I get such a warm welcome there. I feel seen and heard there. I feel valued there.
So nice.
It's so lovely. Seth Barish was a big part of that. He's and Lee Brock, his wife, they're co-founders and co-teachers there. They direct there. They've just been absolutely incredible to me and almost like surrogate parents. So yeah, that community has fed my life in so many ways. Naked Angels has been a lovely community for me. The Shelter Theater Company has been a lovely community for me. Labyrinth Theater Company has been a lovely community for me. And I think at the core of it is just a sense of being seen. It's, you know, we're wired that way, that we want to be seen and heard. And we want to be that sort of recognition that we're okay as we are. You're acknowledged right where you are right now. You don't have to be in this fancy house, in this dress, and these heels. I see you here today as you are, and that's appreciated. It's perfect. It's celebrated. And that's what those theater companies have done for me.
That's great.
When I haven't been able to do it for myself, you know, there are times when I haven't been able to feel my own worth, and I've had a group of people, you know, exalting me in a way, and that's a gift.
Being involved in those communities is definitely a habit. Would you say that you have any other habits or traits that contribute to your happiness and success?
Journaling. I do that every day. I'm a big journaler. I write gratitude lists. Not all the time, but I try to do that at least bi-weekly. I feel like the way I set up my life is sort of an exercise in like diligence, and you know, I look for ways to keep myself on track. So when I wake up in the morning, I put the coffee on and I meditate right away while the coffee's brewing. So it's not a long meditation, it's 10 to 15 minutes at the most, but I like to start my day that way. I journal right after that, or on the subway, or both. I read self-help books all the time. I read spiritual books. I read philosophical books. There are certain people I follow online, so if I'm going on Facebook, make sure that I'm taking in good content as well as whatever else you might happen upon. Same with Instagram. So, you know, Glennon Melton is a hero of mine. Elizabeth Gilbert is a hero of mine. Brene Brown is a hero of mine. Rob Bell is a hero of mine. Martha Beck is a hero of mine. So these are the Facebook pages that I check out on a regular basis. These are the Instagram accounts that I check out on a regular basis, so that I make sure that I'm putting good content into my head, because I think that's really important, that you don't just leave it up to happenstance of like, I'm just going to scroll through. Like, no. No, if you do a lot of scrolling, you're sort of opening yourself up to, I think, you know, a lower energy level, or whatever the sort of groupthink is putting out into the world.
Deconstructive conversations.
I think you can be dissatisfied with something and be constructive at the same time, you know. So yeah, I look for uplifting content, and I listen to Rob Bell's podcast every Monday called the Robcast. That's been my substitute for church. I don't go to any sort of organized church. But that to me feels like church. Yeah,
great.
So those things.
So I like to ask my guests, if there were one thing you'd like the world to see differently, sort of through your eyes, what would it be?
Sense of us all being one. You know, the sense that we're all spirit, and that we're all intrinsically worthy. I think we're seeing now, through this sort of crazy upheaval in our country, especially, that there's inequity. You know, that the way we see things is really embedded in us, and we're not always aware of it. You know, that there are certain associations with Black people because these are the images that have been put in front of our faces over and over again on the news. This is the narrative that has been said. So even, thinking, oh, but I'm not, I don't see color or whatever. Yeah, you do, and the way that the inequity between the sexes, between the genders, and this whole Harvey Weinstein thing has brought up a lot of stuff for me, just in the subtle and not so subtle ways in which the sexes are treated differently, the races are treated differently, our different experiences of the world. I wish that we could have a sort of even playing field, and just really truly like hold space for each other, and celebrate one another and see the worth in each other. Because I think on the ego level, there's a sense of we lose something if we see things that way, if we see things this way instead of this way. Somehow that takes something away from me, when in actuality it's, oh no, it raises it all up. Like that, it's just an elevator that brings us all up. Yeah.
That's great. Do you have any other advice for us?
To go inward before going outward, I think. I don't think that we're taught that very often. I think we're taught that the answers are outside. Whether it's, making our resume better, our appearance better, acquiring a boyfriend, a girlfriend, all those things. And yes, there are ways in which, this apartment has enriched my life. My boyfriend has enriched my life. Absolutely. But the lasting work is the inner work. The jumping off point, the sort of trampoline from which you jump off into your day is your insides. And if you're not okay in here, it doesn't matter if you're on an island with a cocktail in your hand. It doesn't matter if you're on a private plane, if you're in a trapeze class, if you're, all these things that we put up on social media to say, look how great and exciting my life is. Great. And wherever you go, there you are. You're bringing you to those situations. So make sure you are okay first. And all of that, it's inside you already. That peace, that wisdom, that whatever, you contain it already. Jump off from there. That's what I'd say.
Tricia, thank you so much for inviting us into your home and for being here. It's been really a pleasure to talk to you today.
Oh my gosh, so much fun. Thank you.
Well, thanks.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Anytime.
Thank you. And thank you for joining us on The Piece of Persistence. As always, if you enjoyed today's episode, please take a moment. Have you taken a moment yet? Just take one little moment to review us or rate us even. Just rate us on IMDb or iTunes or YouTube. Every share or rating or review goes a really long way in helping new people to discover the show. And obviously we want that. But if you know anybody also who's incredibly happy and also has had some success in their lives, please send them our way. Let us know about them at pieceofpersistence@gmail.com. In the meantime, subscribe at Patreon, that's patreon.com/pieceofpersistence for complete access, or you can find our LITE versions wherever you listen to podcasts or on YouTube. And in the meantime, I hope you have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next time on The Piece of Persistence for more conversations and more content about how to find happiness and success in all of our lives.
But if we've forgotten what really makes us sing and dance at night, it's the people around and our dreams.